Welcome to the Megan Waldrop podcast. I'm your host, Megan. And if you've been here before, so happy to hang out with you again. If you're on YouTube, I see you right now. What's up? And if you're new here, welcome. Come on in. We are here to talk about things to help us become better human beings because why the heck not? What are we going to do? Like wallow in the crap and the muck and the negativity and the mindsets that we've had in the past? Or do we want to put in some work and actually improve ourselves depending on what the heck that could mean for us? And by the way, just wanted to remind you that you're doing better than you think. I don't feel like you're reminded that enough. I don't feel like I'm reminded that enough, but I'm here to tell you that no matter what's going on in your life, you are doing better than you think. So let's just start there, okay? Actually, let's just take a nice little inhale and honor that we are doing better than we think. Ready? Let's take a nice inhale and sigh it out. Look at you, you beautiful human. Okay, today I'm calling this series. Is this a series? I don't know, but I'm calling it Wellness to Go. And I love to give a little wellness, not advice, but things that I'm learning that can help you as well. So we can put it in our tool belt and pull it out whenever we need. Again, the best part about this podcast is about learning together. I'm just sharing things that I'm learning and I think are really cool and I want to share it with you. So take what you like and leave what you don't. And, some of these concepts will come up again as they evolve. And it's just, we're here together. I'm walking with you arm in arm. And I want to have these conversations because I feel like we can help each other through different information that we're learning or practices or exercises that we're doing. So that's what this is all about. I am not a guru. I'm not here to say I have all the answers. I am here to just share what I feel is helpful and hopefully it can help you as well. So I wanted to talk about grounding practices, and people talk about grounding practices a lot these days. So I thought, let's just get down to it. Like, what the F is a grounding practice anyway, right? So I'm going to read from my notes here. Grounding. Okay, there's many definitions, by the way. But in the general sense, grounding is a self soothing skill to use when you're having a bad day or dealing with a lot of stress, overwhelming feelings, or intense anxiety. Grounding is a technique that helps keep you in the present and helps reopen, excuse me, and helps reorient you to the here and now and to reality, your reality. It can also serve as a distraction from difficulties you are dealing with. That was from the University of New Hampshire. And some examples, and I'm going to go through some, are walking barefoot on the grass, using grounding mats, employing the 5-4-3-2-1 sensory techniques, and there's many others. And synonyms that you might hear for grounding practices are also centering, earthing, re-anchoring, and mindfulness stabilization. So that sounds beautiful, but what the heck does that mean? Grounding in the sense of when people are like, we got to bring you back down to earth. I feel like people say that derogatory when they're trying to say that, if someone's dreaming too big, we got to get you back down to earth, which no, keep dreaming big. Like that's the whole point here. Like, why are we not imagining more? Why are we not playing make believe more? So that's another episode. Let's play more make believe. But grounding, whenever you're starting to get up in your head, because Lord knows I have and I still do get all up in my head and I'm go so far down the rabbit hole that it's hard to pull myself out. And I went to therapy about this several years ago. It was a one-on-one therapist, different than the couples therapy. And she was sharing some techniques with me, and I wanted to share them with you too. Now, one of them was showering. This was interesting. She said, take a shower. And whenever you're taking a shower, you imagine whatever that energy, whatever those negative thoughts or feelings or whatever it is, that you're taking a shower and they're washing them off you and they are going down the drain. And once they're down the drain, they are gone. And I'm like, okay, well, that sounds great. That sounds clean and relaxing. I'm going to try that. That's great. Sometimes it did work. Sometimes it worked. Sometimes it didn't. But it's definitely an intentional saying, like, I'm leaving this in the shower. I'm leaving these feelings, emotions in the drain. Another one that she would talk to me about whenever I'd catch myself spiral, and this is a very big one in therapy too, that you imagine a stop sign. Just stop yourself immediately. from going further and start picking things apart that don't really matter, that are just going to make things worse because our brains are amazing machines. And if we let them run, they will freaking run. So, on this podcast, I talk a lot about ways that we can retrain our brains to go from these mindsets that we've been so used to going down into these anxiety spirals about worrying about things that we can't control that may or may never happen, which, by the way, what, 99% of the time they don't happen. So we're just like wasting time going down these rabbit holes. But our sweet little brains, like, that's all it knows to do because we've been thinking this one way for so long that it's just like a clear path for it to go. But these grounding practices are going to help bring us back into this new way of carving new neural pathways, new passageways for us to have beautiful thoughts, more positive thoughts, more actual realistic in our own reality thoughts that are what's going to happen for us, what is actually happening around us, and what could happen as a result. I think I'm going off on a tangent here, but one of the things about anxiety that I learned was you have this thought, right? And it's giving you anxiety. So you write down the thought of what it is that's making you anxious. You write down the best possible outcome. You write the worst possible outcome, and then you write what actually may happen. And this was interesting because at first it can be really scary to even write it out or put it on the page because it makes it seem more tangible. But really, it's a way to get it out of your head so you're not thinking about it, marinating about it over and over again. And then you're seeing it as your higher self in a sense because you're going, what's the best possible outcome? This. What's the worst possible outcome? This. And it's probably some insane story that would never happen. And then what would probably happen? So those are really interesting grounding practices too that you could help whenever you're starting to go into anxiety spiral. Showering, ta giving yourself those 3 points about the anxiety, writing down what it is that you're anxious about, best possible outcome, worst possible outcome, and what actually would probably happen. Another one is walking barefoot on the grass or the ground. So even just sitting down outside and taking your shoes off is helpful. You could do this whenever, you're on the beach. If you jump in the water, that's also very grounding. Another thing that people like to say is they call it somatic shakes. That's just a fancy way of saying shake your body. Somatic means of the body. Soma is the Greek word for body. So if people start throwing that word around, now you know what it means. Because I remember when I started hearing that word, I'm like, what? Are people like acting like they're smarter than me? Or am I projecting that? Or I just don't know what this word is. It was just somatic. Somatic means body. Is it a pajama store or a mattress store? It's called Soma Body. That's what it means. Shaking your body. Blah, just get it out. Shake your hands, your fingers, your legs, just blah. And it's even more fun when you put on music than you're just like dancing and having a good old time. One thing is, okay, I'm going to go down my proper list now. Yes. And this is even, you can do this in an office if you're not able to go outside. Feel your feet. So, whether your shoes are on or off, it doesn't matter. This is still going to be very helpful. You sit or stand with both feet on the floor and you press your feet gently downward and notice the pressure and the weight. So, what this does is it pulls your attention out of your mind and back into your body. And it's super great because it's the opposite end of your body. It's rooting you down. So this is always helpful that I tell my breath work, my corporate breath work sessions. This is a really simple one that they could do before they jump back into work. They could just take 10 seconds and feel their feet supported on the floor. And it just reminds their nervous system that they're safe and supported. It's all good. There's also the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 sensory reset. So you've probably heard this one before. And this is great for people who live in their heads. Hello. Is that not all of us? A lot of us. How it works. You visualize, you say to yourself or out loud. Out loud is even more helpful. 5 things that you can see. 5 things you can see in the room. It could be a desk, a mirror, a chair, a plant, a light. Is that 5? A computer. 4 things that you can feel. So I feel my yoga pants. I feel my velvet jacket. I feel my earrings. I feel the floor beneath me. I feel the microphone in my hand. Three things that you can hear. Well, I can hear a plane outside. I can hear my voice in my headphones, and I can hear the soft static of the buzz of the silence whenever I'm not talking. Those are the three things I can hear. Two things you can smell. I can smell my candle, and right now, I guess the fresh air. And then you take one slow breath. Mm. So I'm going to say the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 sensory reset again without me explaining everything that I'm saying. So it's five things you can see, four things you can feel, three things you can hear, two things you can smell, and one slow breath. And let me take that to the next level by saying you take the slow breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Mm. You can also sigh in the back of your throat, but breathing through your nose is such a key here. That really helps stabilize the nervous system. Okay, let's move on. The 1 minute body scan. This one's really great. You first, you can sit comfortably or you can lay down depending on what you're doing or where you are. You can close your eyes, you can keep your eyes open. But first, here's the instructions. First, you notice your forehead. Just see how that feels. And then your jaw and your shoulders, your hands, and your belly. And you ask yourself, is there anything I can soften or relax a little bit more? Even these small sensations signal to the nervous system that everything's all good. I'm going to read it again. You just work your way down from top to bottom. Just notice your forehead, your jaw, your shoulders, your hands, and your belly. And where can you just relax a little bit more? And the thing is, you can pick anything, honestly. You just work your from the top to the bottom, or that was what top to the midsection, but you can do it however it feels good for you. But just do a little body scan. It's like, where am I holding tension? For me, it's usually in my throat on my left side and my chest of shoulder area. It's like throat, shoulders. I know some people have it in their back, some people have it in their temples. It changes. And a lot of people, it changes all the time. So there's no wrong way to feel in your body. It's just the way that feels that's going to best support you. And you can change that anytime you need. Even though it might feel challenging at first, know that you're doing it correctly. That's what I love to tell people too, is that if any of this feels challenging, you're doing it right. If it was easy, it would it wouldn't be a challenge, it wouldn't be a change. If it was easy, it wouldn't be such a huge shift. Because there's resistance, that means you're actually growing into this new, stronger version of yourself that's able to tolerate calmness, be able to actually bring yourself back down to a state that feels, it might feel new. You're not used to feeling calm. Maybe your body's not used to feeling relaxed, but you're training your body like, oh no, I can soften my jaw, I can soften my shoulders, and everything's fine. The world's not going to end. My world, my personal world is going to enhance even more because I'm giving myself this time. Here's another one. Drink water slowly. And I know it sounds super simple, but that's the beauty of it. So if you just take a sip of water and you actually feel it moving through your body, it's like, what is it? What is the temperature like? How does it feel when it hits my tongue, my throat, my lips? How does it feel working itself down into my body to give me that beautiful nourishment? You can do this with food. With fruit is really fun too, like any kind of berry or any kind of food. But to actually taste your food, I have to remind myself this too, because sometimes I'm eating just to put fuel into my body. And I realize, no, this is such a gift to have fuel and food. How do we take time to just notice what it tastes like? What does it look like? What does it smell like? What is the texture? You think about the people that worked hard to even create that food, to put it on your plate, from the farmers to the fishermen to the harvesters to the people putting it on the trucks, to the trucks driving across the country, to the people putting it on the shelves in the grocery store, checking it out. There's so many incredible different types of movement and energy and effort that it took to get this food to you. How amazing is it? And now we get to enjoy it. So, what does that taste like? What a gift that is. So, drinking water slowly and actually tasting your food. And this is something else. If you're kind of feeling, maybe you've done a breathwork session, or maybe you're having a moment where you've had these grounding practices and now you're like, okay, I feel regulated now. So, how do I get back into my flow? I have a to do list, but how do I do this intentionally? So, instead of rushing back to multitask, you can ask yourself, what's the next one clear step? What's the next single thing that deserves my attention right now? What would focus look like right now? This is just like the focus on doing one thing. Our brains are so incredible that we can think and do, and I mean, we can think about so many things at once. It's really amazing. And it's not to abandon this machine that we have, it's to give whatever our next step, whatever that next single thing, whatever that thing that needs our focus, like what can we do in that moment to really do it in a way that has intention, and that in a way that feels like it'll be done well and completed in a way that feels good for us. Because I heard this one thing recently. What is it? Oh, it said, if you have time to do it twice, you have time to do it right. And that blew my mind too. Wow. That's one of those simple things that you don't think about. But yeah, if I have time, sometimes I'll do a task and I'm like, oh, if it's not good, I'll just do it again next time. But it's like, well, if I have time to do it twice, I have time to do it right once, right now, and then I don't have to think about it again. So that's an interesting way to to go about the day. Let's see how we could do this with more intention in a way that's not going to, add to our to-do list in the sense of putting it back on the to-do list or not actually checking it off. And here's another one. This is a discrete grounding technique you can use anywhere. You put your hand on your heart, or you put your hands, rest both palms on your desk. And you take one slow breath and feel that contact. Mm. And that connection, that hand to heart connection, that palm to desk connection, it signals the brain a sign of stability, because you're giving yourself that breath and you can feel that surface, whether that is your heart or that is a surface of your choice. I like to imagine pushing my breath into my palms, into that surface, or into my heart. Ah, just kind of bring it back to square one. And here's the last one we'll talk about today: looking out a window. How simple is this? For 30 seconds, even. This one's backed by research. I can even send you the research if you'd like, because I know our egos need that sometimes. But if you look at a distant horizon or the trees, it shifts the nervous system out of that narrow stress focus. And it even, if you can do it for 30 seconds, it's so simple because you could take a little break, and before you go back to your screen, just look out the window and let your eyes focus on something far away. And also just let your eyes focus on something that isn't a screen. It's like, oh, okay. Look at that bird over there. I'm looking at the trees right now. And honestly, it also helps with your eyesight. If you were able to keep yourself looking at a faraway distance, because we're looking at things so close all the time too, like train your eyes to see long distance as well is also really great to help strengthen your eyes. And this is another one. Okay, here's one more. Why not? We'll do one more. This one's called a notice one good thing. So you could say after you've done one of these practices, or even anytime, if you're like, okay, if I'm feeling stressed, blah, 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 what, okay, but here's what you can ask yourself: what feels different in my body right now? And what feels a little lighter? This is going to train the brain of the memory of what it feels like to feel calm, good, relaxed. So, if you've taken a nice deep breath and you're like, okay, you've done a grounding practice or something that helps you feel more relaxed or calm, say, what feels good right now? How do I memorize this feeling of bringing my body back to this state? For me, it's the unclench of my left side of my left throat. That always helps me feel like, okay, and how do you do that? So for me, I learned recently too, I imagine thinking about the other side of my throat. Like the left side is always the one that feels clenched. But what about if I just settled into the right side? Oh, I feel more expansive. I'm like, wait, let me hang out in this situation over here. Maybe there's a part of you, like your knee or your feet or your back. There's some part of your body. Where's another part of your body that feels more ease that you can ease into? That doesn't clench, that doesn't have that stress built up. Let's go chill there for a second. That one's actually helped me a lot just to say, wait, I'm feeling the stress. Oh, let me distribute this weight over here. Okay. Yep. This is helping me feel more balanced. I feel like I'm not all up in my head. I can actually feel different parts of my body. So, yes, these are simple grounding practices. When people ask what grounding is, now you know. I'd love to hear which ones you like the most. You can screenshot it and tag me on Instagram. I'm at Megan.Waldrip, or you can email me at support@meganwaldrip.com. Always love to know. And if there's any other new grounding practices out there, bring it on. I'd love to share it. I'd love to learn from you. This is why we're here. We're here to learn and share with each other because why not? How fun is this? Well, okay, grounding practices. We did it. Thank you so much for being here. Next week, we'll have another episode that has to do with improving our amazing, awesome selves because why the heck not? That's why we're here. Thank you guys so much for spending time with me and with each other. And I will see y'all next time. Thank you. Bye.